tell us what was your first flight like? Not not the career flight, but the first flight where you were by yourself.
So I was caught off guard. So basically what was happening is they make lesson plans for you and they say,
Yeah.
okay, your first milestone is to go solo. Then is to get your private pilot's license. So my first step was a solo, and they're training you for that. You keep going up, and and if you have a really good instructor, he's going to take you up in some of the a bad weather day to really push your limits to get you out of your comfort zone, which is a good thing in my opinion. So we would go up and we would go practice every single day. Eventually, it was getting to the point where I was able to take off and land the airplane by myself, but the instructor was there, but I was still doing it all by myself. So he was just
Right.
monitoring. It went more from, let me teach you how to do it, like you got to pull, push, do whatever, to, okay, I'm just going to watch. And if you screw this up, I want you to fix it now because you're going to be in that situation. So we kept doing this a couple times. Eventually, we show up the day, I think 26th of July, and we show up and we go up for a couple flights and sorry, a couple takeoffs and landings.
Yeah.
And everything's great. He's like, okay, yeah, let's just taxi the airplane back where we have to park, and then we'll go from there. I'm like, okay, sure. So I bring the airplane back, and then he's like, okay, just he shuts down the airplane, and then he walks out. And he's like, okay, see ya. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, go solo. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I've signed all the paperwork. Here's everything you need. You're ready to go solo. Weather is great because you have limitations as a student pilot of the winds you can take, how the cloud layer has to be. There's a bunch of limitations. So he's like, the weather's great. Go flying. And he's like, just one takeoff and landing. Come back and we'll see how it goes. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing it. So he didn't really give me that time to process, but he did ask me like, hey, how are you feeling? Because during the whole flight, he was asking like, you feeling you can do it by yourself? I'm like, yeah, I think I can do it. So it's like, yeah, go. So started up the engine for the first time by myself, taxi it out, take off. And the whole time I'm flying, I'm like, I got this. It's just self-talk. I'm like, I got this. If anything goes wrong, I'm in control. I have this. And then I come back, I land, and it's the greatest feeling ever. And every flight school has a different way of celebrating it.
Yeah.
Basically, they have tradition. Some schools throw water on you, and some schools either cut your tie off, and it's like it's a memorable thing basically, and they stick it somewhere in the flight school. So every school has a tradition. Ours was to throw water. So I show up and the instructor is looking at me and he's like, congratulations. And we're right in front of the airplane taking a photo. And there's a guy behind me, comes in and just dumps a bucket of water on me. Thank God it was summer because Canadian winters can be.
Oh, dude, don't get me started on Canadian winters. But bro,
Yeah.
like, I love that story already. But since that all went right and it
Yeah.
all went well and you landed, I have to ask, what would have happened if it did not go right and you were all alone there?
At that point, we were trained to kind of fix it. Basically, you're in control at that point. There's no other way. So the instructor plus myself, we've been training for 20-25 hours at this point together flying. So he knows how I fly. I know how to do things, and he's giving me constant feedback. So what happens is by the time you go solo, he knows and he's confident enough that you can go fly, and if something goes wrong, you'll be able to fix it. So we train scenario ever. We trained, okay, what if there's a fire? What if my engine fails? What if I'm about to land an airplane and there's another airplane that comes in front of me? Now what do I do? So there were so many situations. Oh, what if the weather goes bad? Where are you going to go? The best part of our Brampton was Pearson was right there. So in case if something goes horribly wrong, all I have to do is call up Toronto Pearson and say, I need to come in. And they have really long, wide runways. So I would not have any problem.
When you say
landing.
Pearson, you mean Toronto Airport, right?
Toronto Pearson Airport.